family, to Scriptoria Inspirations, and press your way right on in. Press your way right on in. You all, I'm going to get straight to the story, straight to the topic. You don't know what the next person working with you, living with you, or next to you, or in the community is capable of doing. You do not know. But in all, God asks us to treat each other fairly and love one another, regardless of our flaws. For we have all fallen short of his glory and have sinned. And he's always there on the throne with a willing heart of forgiveness for all of us. One of his commandments is thou shalt not kill. That's one of his commandments, thou shalt not kill. Today I come to you all with a heavy heart and a heavy mind. And the reason I'm saying this is because here in my hometown, about a year or so ago, a flyer posted of a 12-year-old young girl that attended a local middle school here. And the flyer was posted as if the child was a runaway. You see those runaway flyers often, so you assume logically with prayer that they're going to find this child. But as time went on and you start seeing the local news, you've seen certain familiar faces that you know already. And you can see the desperation in their voice. You can hear the urgency of wanting help to locate this certain youth that was in our community. Mind you, you never know what the person you work with or sitting next to you is capable of doing. As time went on, looking for this child, I attended one of those searches because it was like not even a block from where I was living at the time. I got out and I attended one of the searches. And when I was there, I noticed that two people before we started the search, it was a local pastor, and he started in prayer. But as the prayer concluded, I looked around to see whom else was there that you would assume would be there. And that was that child's mother and father. Neither one was at the search that I attended. As time went on, I reposted the child, and you keep in prayer that that child will be found. But it was things that didn't quite give our local police department a heads up or a hint forward to step on. When I say that, meaning she wasn't active. She hadn't started out on social media like some of the kids her age range. She didn't have a telephone. And she had recently, from the understanding of what we was gathering at the meeting, that she had came back to our town to her father by her mother. So they really did, and it was the summertime. It was June of 2023 when this happened. And they really didn't have, she hadn't really made a pathway of footmarks here in Tallahassee. I see you all. Hi and welcome in. Let me finish the story, you all. So when she came here and she hadn't made those trademarks, it kind of made it difficult for the local law enforcement here to investigators to have a heads up with finding, seeing which way she had went. Yes, she had one prior runaway, and they was able to blissfully get her back located. This search here was quite different for me. The reason I said this is because God always keep a ram in the bush. Even though you listen, I want you all to stay with me to the end. I'm going to give God his glory. It's a hurtful story, but I want you to stay with me to the end. God always keep a ram in the bush. Something about this young lady, and I'm going to give her flowers along with the agencies here that help, and along with the chief here that gave a promise. He gave us a promise a year ago, and I remember him making that promise, and he was able to fulfill it. This young lady, this older lady, was once my supervisor on the compound. And she left before me to go into the education field. She had decided she wanted to go on and teach. And when she decided that she wanted to go on and teach, she just so happened to get this same child that she is bringing forth to the media that had not been brought forth by the parent with whom she resided with. Hear me out now. This one lady was adamant in bringing this child information to the media, to the forefront, to everybody's mind, that she had been missing. It was during the summertime that her own parent hadn't done. And I can see the cry in some, and her name is Summers. I'm not going to give you her first name, but her last name is Summers. Summers was quite adamant with a teary-eyed in many of those interviews, even on the searches, as to help find this student. She gave us insight as how the student was in school, and there was a couple of other teachers there as well on the search that I was on, saying how joyful this child was and how she poured herself into her school academics. Summers kept at it. She got it so where we hadn't made it, this town had made it as far as the Nancy, I think her name is Nancy Grace show. And Nancy even aired it on her broadcast about it. Still, the searches went on. Now, our local law enforcement arranged several searches, and they had help with these searches, meaning they had others come in and they built grids over on sides of towns where they walked miles in woods looking for evidence for this child, to no avail. But the chief of police made a promise to us in that interview last year. He said they're not going to stop searching. They're not going to stop following up on every lead. And he assured us that if she was hurt, he was going to locate her. And if any hurt was caused to her, the person would be arrested. You all, I stand before you today to say, I don't always watch the news, because it does. If you watch it, it can mentally get to you. So I choose not to watch it most of the time. So I get a call today. And they knew how much I was talking about the child, because Summers was once my supervisor. And she was a good supervisor. She taught me well. But it stayed with me, because I was like, she is adamant ensuring that something is wrong with this child. Today, you all, April, I think today is the 11th. It came across the news that her father was arrested for unaliving her. Her father was arrested for unaliving her. Yeah, you'll say, Scriptoria, well, why is it so much bothering you? That same father walked that compound with me. That's once upon a time. That same father worked the dormitory with me once upon a time. Summers was once our supervisor. When I tell you, you don't know the mindset of the person that worked with you and what they're capable of doing. You don't know the mindset of what they're going through. It does not give you, I'm not authorizing and saying, okay, it's okay that he killed his child. But it's the fact that you unalive your child. You brought yourself onto that compound every day and gave orders to individuals that broke the law. Yet you was sworn to uphold the law, to protect those that's out here in the community from those that's inside that have caused hurt, harm to them people. But then you go out and you do it. And then the thing about it, a year or so ago, and you steadily went to work like everything was fine. Where is your mindset at, man? Where was you mentally at? What was you thinking? You want, and it bothers me so bad because, Lord forgive me. Baby, what could have made you want to hurt a 12-year-old child that you couldn't see fit to get that girl back to her mom? You couldn't see fit to that Summers, you knew that you knew Summers was there, that you couldn't see that and you had it so secluded that in the interview, Summers said she never released that she was having issues at home, but she mentioned to friends that she was unhappy. You had just that much dominion and control over that child. Yeah, it does. It does piss me off quite a bit because me and you sat there. You know, me and you sat there and we gave orders to those that had broken the law and have been sentenced. But then you out here now, and you did it. You took the life of a child. And you all, the hurt that's in me is because I already I know I don't trust anybody. You hear me? I don't trust anybody. If I can't throw you, I can't trust you. So guess what? I know good and well there ain't many people in society I can throw, so I'm not going to trust you. You can't trust everybody with your children, not even the fathers, not even the mothers. You cannot trust everybody with your children. You can't. Not everybody is for your children. Not everybody is for your children. Not everybody is for your children. I give a shout out to Summers because if it had not been for her, before we get to law enforcement, if it had not been for Summers keeping that baby face on them flyers in the forefront, putting it out there, kept putting it out there, even when it looked like it was dying, now she'll put fire back to it. And it wasn't for the persistence of the investigators that we have in our city and that chief of police that assured the ones that he has assigned the role to investigate had did it. You all, let me tell you before I end this live, from what I read, and you can read it at WCTV.6, WTXL, and any other, MSN has got it now, because I got the alert. They was able to get some sort of information that led them to a plantation field somewhere up in Georgia, from what I'm gathering. I'm not word from word, I'm not paraphrasing, I'm just giving a brief synopsis. They had done searched that area before and didn't find anything. God wasn't ready for us to hear this about that baby. So they come back after a prescribed burn. And after that prescribed burn, they were able to define this child remains. See, that's when God will let you, he'll give you, see, the word of God says he'll allow you to bear, he'll allow you to carry. No, what he puts on you is what he knows you can bear. He already knew today that many of the hearts in this city was going to be heavy when we got the news. He knew that. He knew to the many, to Summers. He knew to the many friends, to the many volunteers that was out there, to the Pastor Ferguson, to Summers, to the schoolhouse, to many of us that was out there, and those that didn't search but sung up prayers, that it was going to come with a saddened heart today because we have got the news that her father, excuse me, hush it, not only that was it her father, but that her remains is found a year and a half later. You talking about something that can interrupt your study, something that'll take your appetite away and have your mindset shifted in a whole nother direction. When you think that you got something going on that's quite bad, somebody always got it worse than you. It ain't all good over here, but it ain't all bad either. And I send prayers, words of comfort. Ask God to give them his peace that'll surpass all understanding. It's my prayer that that baby was gone before the endurance of any affliction, that she didn't feel it, that whatever affliction he caused the result of her death, God had already called her home. But see where she at now, he can't hurt her no more. Can't nobody else hurt her. She ain't got to run away no more. She got all the friends she gonna, streets paved with gold. Every day is a Sunday. Ain't no going to sleep. You don't got to. She's sitting right there next to the right hand of the throne. That's an angel. That's a child of God. And to him, I have no words. I have no words. It's no more than you have. It's beyond disgusting. It's beyond fathom that you would get in your mind to get so angry that you would hurt your own child. When there's so many agencies out here, so many other ways that you could easily give that child or had took her to another location had you got tired, or even not even went home and let the Department of Children and Families went there and got her. But that's neither here nor there. Now it's time for you to face the wrath of what you have done. I'm not God, so I can't judge you. I won't judge you, but I'm entitled to my opinion, which is he's wrong. And he shall not rest. I don't know how he was going to work every day. How he thought he can just live life and that it wasn't going to come back on him. You do wrong, it's coming back. You do wrong, it's coming back. He had in his mind it wasn't. And I ask God to have mercy on his soul. From Scriptorial Inspirations, thank you all for listening. I love each and every one of you all with the love of Christ. Remember, pray over your children daily. In your care and out of your care. Joint custody. Excuse me, y'all. This pollen is getting next to me. Joint custody and not joint custody. Foster care. Caregiver living, meaning other family members got them. They have got grown and moved on and got children of their own. No matter what that circumstance, they moved to another state with their significant other, someone they care about. Speak over your children. And you ask God to keep them angels all around them. Ask them to cover whoever got to interact with your child each and every day. Because what you want is those angels to be there when you can't be there. What you want is for God to always be present. Hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for listening. Have enjoy the rest of your Friday evening, and I'll see you all in the next video. Remember, press your way. Press your way. How are you going to press your way? I'm glad you asked. Through and through. With the scripture, studying and knowledge of God's promises and the many stories of how he's brought so many out in the written Bible, in the Holy Bible. Hey, I love you all. I'll see you in the next video.